Alright, YouTube, so we're back. Welcome to Focused Hands. If you're new, thanks for coming and checking out the video. Let's get started. What we picked up last time on this car, we were dealing with this piece right here. And I think I have that video showing now, or you saw the Easter egg for that from the last video, I believe. I don't know, it's been a long time since I've been out here working on this car particularly, because I'm still working on that car, which we'll get to here in the next video real soon, because I have an issue with that just showed up after I put the car back together. Now, what am I doing today? If you, the savvy of you here, already know, the turbo is missing. And hear me out, don't worry, I'm still gonna turbo the car. But there's one thing that I forgot I needed to do first before installing the turbo, and that was to test the engine. I don't know if the engine is going to work once it starts, or if it ever starts. So to go through all the work to get the turbo and stuff installed and all the piping and yada yada for it not to work is not a route that I'm in the market for doing. So right now I'm in the process of putting in the catalytic converter and the exhaust manifold. You've seen 2 episodes of that on how to do that, so I won't go over it. But I'm doing just that for this car, which, you know, is pretty fun. Once I finish down here, I'm putting things back, like you see, getting things here set up, so when I do the sealant, everything will go on and it'll sit for the 24 hours, as you would see in those other videos. And let's go ahead and get all this taken care of, and we'll move on to the next thing. I'll show you what my thought process is. Stay focused. Alright, so the temporary exhaust manifold and catalytic converter for the EPA standards is installed and ready to go. I will be doing a EPA standard turbo installation as well to satisfy the EPA standards. Again, I'm really harping on EPA standards here. So what's in my thought process next? So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and get the axles back on, and these are specific to the manual part of the car. The automatic and the manual have different CV axles, so you have to make sure you use the right ones. And I mean, on that stuff, you just got to do your research to make sure that, you know, you're getting the right stuff. If you if you switch to the 2.5, which is here, you want to make sure you're running a lot of your ideals off of the 2.3, because the 2.3 and the 2.5 are basically the same engines, which if you're watching by now, you should already know this. You might not, but if you don't, 2.3 and 2.5 are basically the same. The 2.5 is just a little bit larger, but you can still buy the 2.3 stuff for the 2.5 without issue. Subtle differences, but not enough to cause any kind of concerns, except for obviously the timing cover. You want to make sure you get that right, but that's in another video you can check out. So like I said, what I'm going to do next is go ahead and throw this on, and I'll cut you back on. Stay tuned. Okay, so once that slides in like so, and it just slides in, like, it's really simple. You shouldn't be fighting it or having to hammer it in at all. If you're having to do that, something is not right. Stop. The splines are not right. You need to put the bracket back on for this part so that it holds the shaft on, because if you don't, it'll just fall out. Not a good day for you. So let's go do that, and then we will connect it over here, and this side will be done. Like, oh my gosh. All right, stay tuned and or focused. All right, so you need this piece here. Don't know if it really matters which side goes up or down. I think it's uni. Let's slide this up here. Man, it's pretty difficult to do this. I need a GoPro. Please help me hit 1,000 subscribers so that I can buy myself a GoPro. That's only how I'm gonna do it. So I hit 1,000 subscribers, you know. So you all watching, I really appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, you don't have to. No pressure. But if you want to see me do some better editing, or not, I mean, editing could always be better. But video recording, definitely gonna need a GoPro because, you know, having to do this one-handed and whatnot, it's you got to get those angles just right. You know, like this one right here. Like, look at that. Look at that angle work. And you can probably do this a little better with a GoPro. So I'm gonna go ahead and zip these up, and then we'll move on, like I said, to the next thing, and yeah, go from there. Right. So now, again, work on bringing that up. At the same time, I want to rotate this down, push that down. Like that. While working that over, I can slot this in. Just like so. So I'm good there. And I will get the bolt to hold it so it doesn't move back and forth. Put that there. Alright, so on that front we're good. So now all we gotta do is work this in and up in the slot. And I know I'm making this look easy for some of you, so I mean, I've just done this 1,000 times. Not 1,000, but I would say close to like 100, to be honest. You just hit it down until you find the slot. Sometimes you gotta, you know, finagle it a little bit, pull up on it just a bit. There we go. It needs to go all the way through. There's a little bolt, a hole here, and a little key that sits in between the steering knuckle. And on that key, on the back of the strut assembly, there we go. This little key here sits between that knuckle, and you want to make sure that that bolt goes between this and the knuckle and comes out the other side here. If not, you definitely have it wrong, and you know, again, another bad day for you. If you see here, that bolt is coming out the side here. If it zooms, that right there. So we'll tighten that down eventually, and we'll be good. But now, you know, this can turn. We'll tighten this down to spec. And I think we'll be in business there. We'll then hook back up our steering tie rod. Turn this a little bit. Set that up, that into place. Then to get this on, remember you want to jack up on the whole steering compartment here. You jack up, and then you can fit this in, slot it in, and you'll be good to go. So let's go get the driver's side on first. Driver's side CV axle on, and then we'll jack them up on both sides to get all this stuff nice and tight, ready to go, and we'll be done. Stay focused. Alright, so after struggling with it for another 30 minutes, I actually got it to seat all the way in to it, because you're not supposed to be able to pull it out that easy. Well, I mean, technically you are, but it has that C-clamp on there, and you just kind of have to tap on the inner CV joint, and then it went ahead and just slid all the rest of the way in. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on, what you saw on the other side. What I mean by this, I mean copper anti-seize, install the steering strut assembly, and all of the outer tie rod portion. This one is pretty difficult to do. Remember, you don't need a hammer for any of this. You just kind of gotta push, or tap, push in on the inner CV joint, and it should go in. Kind of got to maneuver that C-clamp. For me, it's about 97 degrees in this garage, and I'm used to it. So I'm sweating. I mean, you can see here, I'm just sweating all over. It's crazy, but love it. Love Texas. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get this all worked up, and we'll move on. Stay focused. Okay, so I got both sides on, both axles on, and we have an issue. We have a big issue. None of the spindle nuts work. They don't go past. Let me just show you. And this is really annoying with some of these parts. I don't like these little egged washer designs on these axle nuts, because when you put these on, you might think everything is nice, oh, it's going on straight, it's going on just right, and you get to a spot to where you can't turn it anymore, and you think that everything is good. Okay, so now you're thinking that, all right, it's tight enough, but look at it from this angle. Look at all the extra slack. It's not tight enough. This thing doesn't go down far enough, and if you try to hammer it on, you're just gonna make problems worse for yourself. So I need to go and find another spindle nut or axle nut to get this to work on these axles that doesn't have this egg-shaped thing on it, because I think that's the problem. I had the same thing go on with the S4, where I had to get some different nuts, but I tried these on this one. It seemed like they worked, but I guess not. I guess I didn't go down far enough. Anyway, so that's gonna put a wrench in the work for today. Now that's how you clean a bolt or a nut. Actually, these are nuts. This one's already clean. I'm just gonna do the back. So both of the axle bolts are tight, but they're not torqued. I'm gonna wait to put the car officially on the ground to torque them down. You just pop off the cap and you get access to it. You'll know what I'm talking about when you do it. The next part, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and get all this on, and we are in business. I went out to the junkyard and I got the rubber bushings for the radiator that I needed. I didn't know that they have both top and bottom radiator support bushings, so you'll need 1, 2, 3, 4. Went out and got an extra one of these heater hose adapters for the hoses that I need to connect back here. So there's already one on right here. I'm gonna put that extra one on, and that'll be done. And we will go and get the coolant for it. And the transmission oil should be here today. I need to go get an oil filter, another set of oil, and this thing should be ready to fire up. Like, we're so close. It is insane how close we are to firing this car up. So stick with me. Don't go too far. I also need to plug up some holes down here for the intake manifold. I gotta get those plugged up. And we should be good there, but I gotta make sure that I remember to do that. Otherwise, I'm gonna get a whole lot of air in the system that I don't want. But yeah, that's it. That's the whole 9 yards. Cool, very cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get that stuff done. So stay tuned. All right, let's get this bad boy installed. Let's get this installed. Guess I should put that on first. All right, YouTube, got wheels, tires, brakes, suspension done. Everything here is all accounted for, in place, checked for. All the coolant hoses. I got the repair for the non-turbo coolant hose done. For the heater hose, I got 2 connection points for that. That's now done. Put this back here a little bit, just like that. That's now done. Got the cold air intake on. And it also has this waterproof filter holder or guard. The next thing to do in the next episode, and hopefully the final episode, because I'm probably going to try to start it next episode, is to get the battery stuff figured out. This ground wire somehow got snapped during installation, so I got to fix that. Put all the fluids in. And fire this thing up and see what I got. You know, see if I really can do what I say I can do. I proved it with the S4, but can I do it with the ST? And I also got to remember to get caps for the intake manifold, running control spots here, the actuators. I got to get some stoppers for that so that no air gets out, because it will do it. Well, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, because there's still a lot to do. It may not look like it, but there's still a lot of stuff to do. And I got to make sure I remember all these little details to make this car great and to get it to running like I want it to. And I know you all are like super enthusiastic about seeing this thing up and running. Will it crank? Will it start? I am too, honestly. I am ready to fire this thing up to see what's all the hush and fuss is about with this Ford Fusion engine. I imagine it's going to be hella fun. So, and I'll say this, Focused Hands, signing off, peace.